It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to our midday broadcast. Now, amidst the looming second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in South Africa, it's important to remember why we are in lockdown, and we've gone through what we've needed to prevent as many further devastating losses as possible. And I stress the word devastating. Joining us to share her family story with COVID-19 is Valene Weber, who is married to comedian and radio personality Carl Weber, who's a good friend of ours on the show. Valene, I can connect with you on a very deep emotional level, because I think what you've had to live through is what everybody fears.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where the story begins. Your mother, Eva, is admitted into hospital with a bladder infection. What happens next?
So Mom obviously goes to hospital the Wednesday for bladder infection. Obviously the last thing that you would think that they would do the COVID test, but obviously on admission, protocol is they do a COVID test, and not thinking that you'd get a result of positive. So the next day, Mom's results came back positive for the virus, which was obviously a total shock. So yeah, after that, I think things just spiraled after that.
Your father contracts COVID-19. Both parents are diabetic, as I understand it,
Yeah.
so they have to be treated in separate wards. What follows on from that?
So Dad got his results the 20th, 3 days after. 3 days after Mom. And with that, with that, Dad had to be admitted to hospital. And with Dad being admitted, the immediate family all got tested for corona. Not because of anything, but we were in contact with Mom and Dad. And we obviously wanted to do it for the safety of our family members and whoever we've been in contact, because by then I was the only one going in and out of the house for work. So the only reason why we all got tested was because of safety of others.
Contact.
Yeah.
Then the worst possible outcome. How did you, and we'll talk about you and your brother contracting the virus, because that added another layer of devastation and pain, I would imagine. But what was that experience like, those dark days building up to the worst possible outcome?
So I don't think, you don't think that you'd get that call that somebody or a family member has passed on, because that was the last thing on my mind, because my mom went in for bladder infection. Yes, she was diabetic, and yes, she tested positive for the virus, but I think we believed so much that it couldn't have been that bad, because the information we were getting from the hospital was Mom was stable. So to me Mom was stable. She was okay, she was doing well, because by then they were telling me she was eating. That was the day Dad got admitted to hospital. So to me, Mom was getting better. Just that thought of that call, it freaks you out. And both myself and my brother isolated, obviously, at my parents' home, because our spouses were obviously awaiting their results for COVID. So yeah. Now,
You've contracted, were you able to go to the funerals?
No. So both myself and my brother Lester, we tested positive for the virus. And Carl and my brother's wife Lauren tested negative for the virus. So all immediate family, none of us attended their funerals. So we had to watch their funerals on Facebook Live with everybody else. So the people that was there, because we could only have 20 people at the funeral, because they had to be cremated because of COVID. And I thank God every day that it was stated in their wills that they wanted to be cremated. I think if it wasn't and we needed to do a burial, it would have just spiraled. So
I can scarcely imagine how you find some kind of understanding of what an experience like this is. When you look back on it now, it must still be fresh and it must still be incredibly painful. But how are you keeping yourself together, having gone through all of this? What is there reason? Is there something to cling to?
I think that if you have a positive outlook on life, you can move forward. Yes, they say time heals all wounds. I personally believe this is a wound that's going to take a very long time because it's both my parents, and they passed away 4 days apart. And that, for me, I don't wish on my worst enemy. It's heartbreaking to think that they're both not there.
Hopefully together now.
Yeah.
Carl, obviously, he didn't test positive, and knowing his nature, he called you his quarantiner.
Yes, he did.
And he said that it was divine intervention that he didn't get sick so that he could actually look after you and be able to be that person. How much did it mean to you to have his support and at least to have one anchor in the midst of these stormy seas?
So I always said Carl was in the lion's den because he was in the house with myself and my brother, and we both tested positive for the virus. And I always used to joke with him and say, yes, I know I'm quarantina, and he said, yes, but I'm the miracle child, hence the brand I'm wearing right now. So he baptized himself as the miracle child because we believe that Carl had to be the healthy one to look after us. And I thank God every day that I married the partner that I did, because they say in sickness and in health.
Yeah.
That was definitely in sickness and in health, because there was a time I told him, I'm sleeping in the spare room because I don't want to give the virus to you. And he joked about it and he says, I got it already, it's fine. I mean, he was bound to get it. The only thing he did lose was taste and smell.
Wow.
And if you know Carl's personality, he joked about it because he'd sit with a whiskey and like smell it and then taste it. And he's like, I'm not getting that taste and smell.
Such a waste. Such a waste.
So, yeah, I think he's a strong person. He was my pillar of strength, and I think he just kept me sane in this time.
You've chosen to use this very bravely, to use this platform, to use the gifts that you have and the network that you have to send a message and to educate people around what's going on. What do you say to those, and I speak specifically to those that aren't taking this seriously. What do you say to people in this country?
All I can say is be safe, wash your hands, sanitize. I'm called Miss Paranoia right now. I carry a bottle of sanitizer with me wherever I go. Be careful, don't interact with people, keep that social distance, and just love the people around you, because tomorrow is not promised. And in a blink of an eye, things can change. So just be safe and follow protocol.
And change dramatically.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for opening up about this. I know when I first connected with you on an emotional level, when this had almost just happened to you guys, that's when it became very real for me. And that certainly changed my behavior. So hopefully this will help to change a lot of other people's behavior so that we can avoid, in the case of what you've gone through, massive, massive loss. So thank you so much for being brave enough to talk with us today. It's a heavy one, so thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Keep staying safe, keep social distancing, keep wearing your masks in public. It's not about protecting yourself, it's about protecting other people. We'll continue in a moment.